that's James's dinner today, and it looks like he's going to be talking about those books. And, well, this got top of the stack, The Jewish Nazi, and that's what it was competing against. So we'll talk about those. Oh, I was going to mention this. We got this candy. Well, I picked it out, and you can see there's many pictures of the Jolly Rancher gummies. But in that whole thing, it says that it's a... I'll hold it up so you can see. But it says that there's 100 candies in there.
But
100 candies. But there's only 11 in total of these Jolly Rancher gummies. And lots of these Twizzlers. But I don't know, maybe some other bags got lots of the Jolly Rancher gummies.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
So, anyway, James has kombucha to drink. This time he hasn't reviewed this type of kombucha yet.
No.
So,
but then there's a lot of books there that I haven't reviewed.
that's true.
No.
So, I think we will review the Jewish Nazi later, because I'll leave that for James, because I didn't watch it. I was, you could see there was some homemade salsa there. Some of the jars that don't can properly, well, they go in the fridge, and then James mixes them with his food or whatever. And that's great, because that's all that's going to end up happening with the stuff that's canned. It's going to be mixed with the food later on. But, so... yeah, I was canning, and James was watching this. So he will tell you all about that. And I didn't rate, I think I gave this a 2.5 or something out of 5. I didn't give it very high. So James said 5 out of 5 for this.
I see.
So, because it says an extraordinary story, and it's a true story, so.
So they say.
Yeah. So,
it seemed so wild that
nothing
I thought
like
it
this
was just made up.
Yeah. So the bad guys too. And there are some strange things happening in the world of TV that really political,
good.
And I don't like. This is cartoon, obviously aimed at children.
Mm-hmm.
It was 1 hour and 44 minutes. It didn't feel long, though. It was very entertaining. It's just, there's some things that, I guess you could say, oh, well, it's a cartoon. It's meant for children, whatever. Well, when they're out in outer space and the one guy's suit gets popped with a pen, and I don't think the guys inside the suit would fare very well after that happened, but I don't know.
Depends on whether the cabin was pressurized.
Well, they're not in the cabin, they're just floating around in outer space.
Outer space, well,
yeah.
No, they would explode.
So, anyway, there was some funny stuff there, but it's just, I don't even know if a kid would buy into that. But anyway, so the main problem I have with this stuff is saying, oh, well, these bad guys, oh, they're really good guys. They're not bad guys, like they're criminals, but criminals are good guys. I don't know.
Yeah, there's been way too much of that stupidity.
I don't know. I have a hard time with this. So, yeah. And then, they're trying to show us these bad guys that were really good guys. They're having a hard time getting jobs because they're criminals. Well, no, there's a lot of jobs you can get if you have a background as a criminal. Like, you can harvest vegetables or hoe beets like James did for very little money an hour. And
no, I was still not quite an adult then, so I was.
You can work for a landscaping company, like I did, for very little money an hour. There's a lot of jobs you can do as a criminal. And a lot of other people who aren't criminals, like James,
End up
like
doing-
myself, they end up doing those jobs. And
Come to think of it, I just turned 18, so
yeah. So anyway, but for a lot of criminals, they're too good for that. You know, they don't want to do that sort of stuff. It's
It doesn't
they
pay
want to
enough.
make big money.
and some of them
And,
just want to mess people around. Right?
or maybe, yeah, I don't know. So
I'll give you an example. I'm reading a thing for the third time. It's about stalkers, rapists, and stuff like that. Murderers. And comes from a guy who worked at Quantico. So he would have helped inspire the serious criminal minds. There's a whole chapter devoted to this young girl. I think she's just coming up to her 20th birthday or something like that, 3 days before 20th birthday, working in a food place. And there's this older guy, in his 30s again, working at the food place. He's a nice guy. But the story he tells people there is, I've been to jail, but I just got in a fight or something like that. Oh, turns out he'd already, he was jailed for raping a woman. And so you know what's going to happen, right? And like the guy who wrote the book, he didn't ghostwrite it, but he had a ghostwriter. He said, you know, a lot of criminals do learn in prison, but they don't get rehabilitated. What they do is, if they committing rapes and stuff like that, is to murder a witness.
yeah.
You know, so that's what he did to this poor girl and stuff like that. So, what were you talking about? Which movie were you talking
A
about?
kids movie.
Yeah, about bad guys and all this sort of stuff. You know, like, and we were talking something about jail.
In this one, I mean, that would be something to have a kids show about somebody who was incarcerated for rape. But no,
Yeah.
these ones were criminals that used to rob.
Yeah, so anyway, this guy had been sentenced to 20 years. He's let out mandatory for something like good behavior after 10 years. You know, if he'd served the 20 years, she'd survived. Of course, when he got out, someone else would have died. But yeah, he'd already raped a woman and scared her, you know, like just a little while before. He ended up murdering this poor woman, I guess it was. But I don't know, you know, just a horrible story. And, you know, bad guys are bad guys. It's that simple. Can they be rehabilitated? They'd better learn in prison. If they don't, well, you know, I'd put them away for good. I don't know.
Yeah, the Marlow Murder Club season 2. I didn't expect
Speaking
very
of murder,
much. Didn't expect very much of this because I'd watched season 1, but season 2, boy, the first mystery that they solve. Good writing. That was a good mystery. I didn't solve it. I didn't know anything about, like, it may not even be believable at all. I don't know. But when you think back on it, the clues were all there, like they should be. And I'm not going to give it away. I don't know if how it happened would actually work or whatever. I can't say anymore, or I would end up giving stuff away. So
was that the one in the closed or cul-de-sac?
No.
It's a different one.
No,
I'm mixing that up with another series.
Yeah.
I think.
No, it's a different show on here.
Oh, it's on that one. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I was very impressed with the one mystery, the first one that they did, with the guy who ends up dying, and you don't know whether it was the son or the whatever. It was very exciting and very well written. So, I would recommend that. Now, mind you, James was pretty annoyed watching this. He's like, this is just out and out sexism. There's, it's all women. He's like he's looking at the names on the, you know, in the opening credits and stuff like that. And he's like,
one of the shows, there were 7 of major names, 8, 7 of them were women. Now, I think a lot of people think, that are all for that. Oh, that makes up for past time. No, those people in past time, they're dead now.
Yeah, and well, I do have a little bit of, it's a bit much for me too. I'm watching it and I'm like, oh, okay, so the men are either bad guys or they're not that bright or they need a woman to come to their rescue or something like that.
Or they're a person of color.
Yeah.
But even then, they're underlings.
Yeah.
To the women.
So it's a bit much that way. So I will say that. Section 31. It says right on it Star Trek in little writing, but you know what? I hadn't read that. I just saw Section 31, and when I first put it on, I saw the Star Trek, the little symbol that they have, and I thought, oh my gosh, like, these guys ripped off the Star Trek symbol and they're getting away with it or whatever, and no, it's Star Trek. So anyway, it has the woman from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and so you're going to see some good fight sequences.
Is she the captain then, who also fights, or how does that work out?
Well, I don't know if. Anyway, she's an emperor, and she's
okay.
She was a bad person. So this is another one where you're like, oh, the bad people, good guys, whatever. But
she's good now, though, right?
It looks, well, you don't know. At the end, they're like, oh, we don't know if we can trust each other, kind of thing.
Weird.
Right? But they ended up working together, and in this, anyway, there were a lot of great special effects. But for me, that just doesn't cut it. There's a lot of action, a lot of great fight scenes, stuff like that. And the acting really isn't there. Typical of Star Trek, there's not a lot of great acting in Star Trek a lot of the time. And the story is whatever. So it didn't end up getting that high in the stack for me. That's all.
Yeah.
It was entertaining enough, It started out weak, I have to say, as it didn't seem like Star Trek at the beginning. Not so great, but whatever.
Fascinating. I see one white guy here, 3 women. They seem to be two of them are people of color.
Well,
there are 2 black guys here.
The one guy playing the Vulcan, he actually does accents well, because he does one.
He looks Oriental.
At the no,
he's
not.
No, okay.
So anyway, he does accents well. So that's one thing I should point out, because he does a couple different, and they were both convincing, I think. So Professor T, season 4, bottom of the stack. And I like this show. When I put it on, I'm like, oh, James, you're going to like this show. And he's like, wow, this is slow. And this is, he couldn't stand it.
Well.
And he left.
I couldn't even lie, because we're just lying down watching.
Do you want me to open that for you?
Yeah,
it looks like you're having some troubles.
Well, I just don't want to spill it all over the place.
I have a hard time opening things, too,
There you go.
with my hands. It's hard work. It hurts.
Yeah, I should really do.
But anyway, this is a very bad season of this. It's
I like the
boring all the way
idea of
along.
the guy who's
I know.
obsessive compulsive.
Yes, and in the past seasons it was entertaining. This one, not so much. I really hope they manage to pull it out of the toilet for season 5, because I want to watch this again. I just want it to be good again. I don't want more of this. This is really boring. So now James is going to talk about the Jews Nazi. And how's that kombucha?
It's plenty fine. So
It's good. I'm glad you like it. How would it rate compared to the other brand that you had tried earlier?
this might be even better. So
Good.
I'm not.
Good. All right, there you go. So, Jewish Nazi.
Well, so I think this is an actual documentary. Looks as though the Germans had
What it
something
sounded like.
Came mainly from Australia, but kind of travels all over the globe. So this boy, his story was, as a grown-up, that he'd lived in maybe Belarusia, and the German Nazis came in World War II to the village where he was raised. And they're not actually sure how old he was when they stomped in there. They're guessing maybe 6. And his story was that the Germans said, "We're not going to kill you today," to the Jews in the village, "but we're coming back tomorrow or whatever, and we're going to kill you, shoot you." So the kid told the parents, I'm going to run away. I'm not going to let them shoot me. And it was something like coming up winter or winter time. And according to his own account, he survived a while. I don't know how long it was. It might have just been a few days. He said he ate some strawberries. I believe it was more like autumn. He said they found some strawberries near a corpse. A little bit gone, maybe a whole lot gone. And then he was rescued by a Latvian soldier working with the Germans. And he became part of a Nazi extermination squad. So they were exterminating what they call partisans, communist agents, working behind German lines, Jews, gypsies, bandits, I think, is one of the groups the Germans singled out. Don't know what the original German term would be, but he eventually made it. They actually, according to his own account, had him watching while they tortured and exterminated Jews. So maybe even had him participate in one torturing of a Jewish boy. So, but now they were saying that the reason why he was spared was because he was blonde. Well, you can see the picture. You kind of highlighted the picture. I don't think it was that blonde. Anyway, he ended up in Australia. That's how the account goes. Yeah, they touched it up here. They have him with blue eyes. Anyway, look, Aryan or something like this. Aryan enough. So he became their mascot. Mascot of this extermination squad. What do they call them? Einsatz unit or something like that. And ended up in Australia. Had he was 3 sons, at least 2. And one of the sons, I think the oldest, wrote a book about his dad's experiences. So Mascot became apparently something like an international bestseller. And then Holocaust survivors and representatives started looking at the story. It looked suspicious. How could a kid survive, like 6 years old, in something like the winter time? How come the Germans announced they were going to come back the next day? Why would they give people a chance to escape? He, after all, did, according to his own account. So some Holocaust survivors in a particular organization maybe said, well, we're going to out him. We're trying to. They actually, well, it sounded as though it demanded that he give them take a DNA test. I think they were suspicious he wasn't even Jewish. He said, if you give me $100,000. He said later that it was his joke, the kind of joke that was in Australia. I think it's possible that the one son who wrote the book maybe decided to be a bit of a scamp, trying to make money. Anyway, the middle son, or the younger son.
Well, honestly, it'd be dangerous. Like, people are getting DNA tests all over the place now. But I don't know why they are.
It's not good for your health, sadly, to be a Jew. Pretty well anywhere in the world. And talking to a guy on one of our trips, I never mentioned it to you. He was saying, I was talking about how there's one particular religion as curious and curiouser reputation for being very peaceful and tolerant, whereas their reality is quite the opposite. He agreed, but he said the real problem in our society is the Jews. I'm going, okay, we'll move on.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's from
what do you
BC.
do?
Anyway, his one son, the oldest son, or whatever it was, the one that published the book, died. The younger son took a test, DNA test. Turned out he was half Irish, wait for it, and half Jewish. His mom was Irish, so. And then his dad was basically Jewish, Ashkenazi Jewish. Ashkenazis comes from the biblical term for Scythians or Scythians. But when it's applied to Jews, it means Jews that ended up in Eastern Europe. Sephardic Jews that came from Spain. I get a big difference. But anyway, I meant that this guy was 100% Jewish. So they started tracking down. They eventually tracked down relatives, and this is according to DNA. A first cousin and a second cousin in Montreal. Came from that, at least that general area. So, it's an important story nowadays. There's way too much identity politics. I'm reminded of Buffy St. Marie's Trials and Tribulations. She had, I believe, the Order of Canada stripped from her. She's supposed to be pretending. If you look at a picture of Buffy St. Marie, pretty well at any age, she looks like a sitting bull, for Pete's sake. Now, if she was adopted, She actually came from the reserve, where a substantial number of my one of my nephews and several of my nieces lived for quite a while. And she, I guess, was adopted there. Some of the reserves, it's in kind of northeast of Regina, particular reserve. I don't know, people could check it up, so I'll just mention it. It's Piapot. But some of the reserves out there in the Qu'Appelle Valley, I think it's in the Qu'Appelle Valley, this particular reserve, but east of Piapot, we have several different ethnic groups or nations mixed together. And so
Of natives.
Of nation.
Yeah,
of natives. Native nation.
Yeah.
And so it's mainly Cree there, but the Sioux came up there. Guess what nation Sitting Bull belonged to? The Sioux. But you also have Ojibwa or Anishinaabe.
Yeah, but at that time, they wouldn't have had a child adopted by natives
like
who wasn't native.
It's
just ridiculous to even suggest that.
Here's a white kid who looks like Sitting Bull, but here you go, native people. You don't even got the vote, but we're going to have you adopt a white child. Oh, come on. What
At
stupidity.
that time, I mean, a lot of people who weren't native were able to adopt native children, but it didn't go the other way around. So,
exactly right. I mean, my parents adopted 3 mixed indigenous. One was half German, one was half Chinese, one was half Scandinavian.
Yeah.
So
they better give it back to her. That's ridiculous.
I guess she refused to take a DNA test. I don't think she should have to, but I really wish she would, because anyone who's involved with getting that story out should I guess the CBC. I could be wrong, but I think the CBC were the people responsible for.
But like I said, I don't know that she should take a DNA test, because I don't know that anybody should. Anybody who has any sense at all should be wary of it, because you don't know.
Shouldn't.
There are a lot of people out there that don't like people for their ancestry or for their genetic makeup, and it's not a.
She shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
The point I'm making is, I would like her to. So she's been witch hunted I gather by the CBC. If she takes it, I'm sure she'd pass it.
Yeah, I'm sure she would.
I would want everyone in the CBC. That's with my money, Pauline's money, our dog's money. I want them all fired.
Yeah.
And frankly, prosecuted by the government for slander.
Yeah.
Every one of those sleaze buckets with the CBC doing this witch hunting with public money. You creeps. How much time?
18 seconds.
Good. What is it? Synergy. There we go.
There you go. And we didn't get paid to review that.
No, raw kombucha, it says.